doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, welcome to the People's Weekly on peoplesradiounited.com. I'm Tim Best Budz. I'm here with Steve Shagwell today.
What's up, man?
How you doing, Steve?
Just shitlording my way through life.
Yeah, we're here alone today. Glenn couldn't make it. Nolan, as most people probably know by now, his father died, and he's dealing with that, which is understandable. And
very.
Shout out to Nolan. I hope you get through this okay. And I know it's hard, so just be strong, man. It's never easy with a death in the family or a close person that's close to you. It's tragic every time. It's never a good time. But we're here for Nolan, and hopefully you guys will all be here for Nolan at Nolan Hack. Just give him a lot of love because he really needs it right now. He's super depressed. So yeah, that's the bad news. The good news is People's Radio is in March. We're starting video back up as well as radio, more radio shows. Documentaries. I know me and you have an animated thing we're going to do that we're not going to talk about yet, but it's going to be pretty awesome and pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weekly thing. It's going to be a little short animated, yet informational kind of little clips. What was that? And then
that is the very vocal cat I adopted.
Oh, Miyamoto.
Meowmoto. It's Meowmoto, and I kid you not.
I think I said it too fast.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, animals are awesome. I got Olive right here.
Are.
She's not a cat, but sometimes she acts like one. She chases.
Yeah, this cat talks a lot. Pretty much anytime I'm not petting him, he's talking and informing me I need to pet him. So you'll hear him a lot in the background.
That's cool. Olive barks a lot too, as people who listen to this know, when she gets frustrated. Or she'll just come up to the headphones and start breathing, which is weird because people say, oh, what's he doing? But it's not me, it's Olive.
Well, that's excellent. We have a studio audience.
Wait, what happened?
We have a studio audience.
Is one person listening and that person is you? Or two people, you and me?
No, my cat and your dog.
Oh, an in-studio audience. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Studio audience. Yeah, whatever. Jeez.
So, yeah, actually, just today, I spent a crap load of money on video equipment, new DSLR camera. Like, we're going to get out there. We're going to have documentaries, short films, instructional videos, besides the animation stuff. We're really going to move People's Radio in a direction where we can get information out to you in a lot of different ways. And YouTube, being YouTube, is just cut off all our ads, which is... I thought I'd be madder than I am, Steve, but it's actually, as I told you, it's kind of liberating because we can go back to the regular hashtags. They're not going to ban and block everything. It's just no monetization, and fuck their monetization and fuck YouTube. So we're just going to use them, we're just going to use them and abuse them, basically, and get our stuff out there through their platform.
Much the same way they're using and abusing all their content creators.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to. I think now you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views a month to even be, and then they have to approve your content. So I figure there's no way in hell they're going to approve our content. They block everything. Every time we mention Serena Shim, Turkey, hacktivism. What was the other word? There were so many words, and they just block them. But we could say Nazi all day, and they wouldn't block anything we put. It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, so fuck YouTube. That's the general sentiment I got. But we're gonna go ahead and use and abuse them, like I said. So yeah, just keep tuned. We have a lot of new shows. I know Nolan has. When he comes back, he has Whose Culture is coming back, and then he has another show called The Rap, I believe. It's going to be kind of like MNOO. It's kind of sporadic. And speaking of that, we have some guests lined up for MNOO coming up starting next month. Just trying to do scheduling. There's going to be about 3 to 5 new episodes of that coming real quick, like in a month or two. They'll just be back to back to back. And then after that, hopefully I can keep it going with a lot of interesting guests and people. But if not, it'll be like it is now. When we have an awesome guest, we'll have a show. And this show here will be every Friday all the time, except last Friday because of a lot of people's personal situations. We didn't do a show last week. So if you thought you missed it, you didn't. We weren't here. So yeah, our first topic today is Trump's fascist military parade. So Trump wants to have, I guess he's jealous of Kim Jong-un and other dictators around the world who parade their rockets down the street and have all their tanks coming down the street and all their military killer people go and salute the dear leader. And that's what Trump wants, because why should he be left out of what other dictators get?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mean, when I heard about this, I kind of did a double take because, yeah, I mean, my whole time growing up, this is something I heard about China doing, Iran, Russia, and these countries, right, and North Korea, of course, and so, and Cuba, and all of a sudden, like, we're going to do this in America? I mean, the ever-loving fuck, the dude used to be a little bit subtle about his, you know, intent to be a fascist dictator, but yeah, it's, good Lord, dude. And, like, what the fuck? I'm thinking about it now and I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah, I mean, I think my whole thing about it is he goes around screaming Rocket Man, and talks so much shit about this guy, then he wants to emulate him. Just blows my mind.
He really does. He's copying Kim Jong-un in so many ways. It's like, but you know, you have an insecure man with a small dick, and you have another insecure man with a small dick, and they're both afraid the other's dick is bigger than their dick. So, you know, they're basically at this point, they're both kind of trying to be like each other, and it's fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's way out. But see, here's the thing. I feel, I know this isn't popular, but I don't really care. You know me. I feel like the military gives a parade every fucking day in this country. Oh, thank you for your service. Thank you for my freedom, which they had nothing to do with your freedom. No person fighting in the military today or during your lifetime, I mean, if you're my age or less, has, and I would say even older, has ever fought for your freedom. I don't see how they even say that, you know, but like every day, some military person is getting their figurative balls sucked because they were in the military and went over to slaughter innocent people for corporate and political gain for others. I don't grasp the concept at all. I don't see why these people are heroes. There was a teacher that's getting bashed for saying basically the same thing now. He called them the lowest of the low. I don't believe that. I think these are poor people who have very little options, and these military recruiters are lying pieces of shit, and they convince people that that's in their best interest to join the military. I can't blame people for that. I know people who have gone through that, and you know, I've never seen a rich person go and join the military all gung-ho. I'm sure it happens, but you know, Trump's kids aren't in the military. Obama's daughters weren't in the military. Bush's daughters weren't in the military. Reagan's kids weren't in the military. Clinton's daughter wasn't in the military. So all these motherfuckers starting wars all over the world don't even believe it enough to have their own kids go and fight and risk their lives for this shit. So how much do they really support the troops? How much are they really into it? And how much of it is bullshit to get votes and approval? Because in our country, killers are heroes.
votes and approval and funding from multinational corporations that want the spoils of whatever country we are liberating.
Yeah, and the manufacturers of military killing machines, you know.
Oh yeah, there's 3 lobbyists for every 1 congressman on the Hill, but from the 3 defense industry lobbyists for every 1 congressman in the Congress. I mean, it's, it is. It's about a money racket. I'm not saying you don't need a military and you don't need to go to war from time to time because, there's assholes out there and sometimes assholes get control of a country and then they want to fuck with another country. And so, yeah, you need a military, but we have not been using our military for that reason. We have been using our military for the benefit of a few rich people. And
where's our military when there's national disasters? Why don't they come and help us? Then we can say thank you. They get some National Guards in there, throw some supplies out, and don't really do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why isn't our military in Puerto Rico helping people? No guns, no tanks, no planes. Well, maybe planes and helicopters to bring supplies in, but no killing weapons. Just over there saying, you know what? We're the military. We're here to serve the country. That's what they say. We served. How the fuck are you serving me when you over here slaughtering people for no reason really? No reason that benefits me or anybody in this country whatsoever other than the ultra rich.
Well, that is the thing, I mean, like, any preservation of our way of life that has happened with all this military action in our lifetime has been very incidental and never the intent, It's always been about money and acquisition of resources, and I mean, and again, I'm not anti-military. I just said sometimes you need a military, and sometimes you wind up in a war. But I am anti what the fuck we're doing with our military.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the military served a purpose that was beneficial for the average citizen of the United States, then that would be one thing. But you get these guys, they go out there, they're trained to kill, they're trained to hate everybody, look at everybody as an insurgent. Then they come back here and what do? They become fucking cops on the street and look at us like insurgents, fucking attack us. Bro, you seen it the other night. Didn't I send you the video? I sent it to somebody. They threw some shit at my car. Try to tell me I hit something, dude. It's fucking insane. They have way too much power, and they come from that background. They they make me sick. And eventually the military is going to come against us. There's no doubt in my mind. It might be in my lifetime. I assume it will be. It might not be, but the military will go against the American people when shit gets bad enough. And then we have to ask ourselves, how brainwashed are these fuckers? What are they willing to do for a paycheck? What are they willing to do for the nationalistic views? This teacher, I can't. I'm trying to look up his name, but like when I have Skype going and this, I don't want to slow down the stream. Doesn't matter what his name is. He's a teacher in California here. Like I said, he called him the lowest of the low, and that I don't agree with. I think the military in general is the lowest of the low, like the military industrial complex. But I don't think the people that get duped into going there and going overseas and doing terrible things are lowest of the low. I think they're just.
Well, yeah, I mean, it comes down to economics and education and setting yourself up with a career, and I mean, some people do it for that, and then there is an extensive amount of we're just assaulted by glorification of police and glorification of military in our TV programming. I mean, half or more of our TV programs are glorifying police and military, and we're sold this message, bombarded with this message that we have this, the most free country in the world, which is bullshit. We've been slipping every year since 9/11, according to the Human Rights Index. But the narrative is we have this, and so it's a really noble thing to go and protect this way of life that we have. And I mean, like I said, people are getting bombarded by it, so they join the military with really good intentions, and Oh, stop it, Miyamoto. Stop. I
Yeah,
know you.
for those just
He's mad
coming
about the
in.
military too. He's mad about our government too.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too, Steve, and maybe you could answer this. I don't know, or anyone that knows how this works, because it puzzles me. So when this teacher came out and said what he wanted to say, and the stupid brainwashed kid, I don't want to call the kid stupid. He's a brainwashed kid, obviously. He's Latino, and he's standing up for white supremacy, nationalistic views, whatever. That's his prerogative to believe what he wants. And I'm pretty sure when he gets older and sees how shit really is, he might not have the same views. I was a lot different in high school than I am now. I'm sure most people were. But here's the thing. These veterans come out and go there picketing and say, I fought for his right to say that. When the fuck did you fight for his right to say anything or do anything? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and not only that, but it seems to me like now you're fighting against his right to say it. So,
Well, I agree they should be allowed
point.
to go picket what he says. That's fine. I don't think he should be fired for expressing views that are actually factual.
Well,
But
no, I'm saying like you get these people who are like, I fought for your right to criticize the government.
you didn't.
Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to go criticize the government. Don't you dare criticize the government.
Well, I want to ask them when they did that. Where did they fight for my right to free speech? When did you do that? Where was this battle? Did you go against the White House and Congress? Because I didn't see that war. I see y'all overseas overthrowing fucking governments, some democratically elected and installing dictators and people that are on your side. I see you over there slaughtering innocent fucking people daily. Women, children, blowing up hospitals, all kinds of crazy shit. What I don't see is you fighting for any of my rights or any of my fucking freedoms. Because if you did, you'd be fighting these police and you'd be fighting the U.S. fucking government. Because they're the ones taking my freedoms. Nobody in fucking Iraq, North Korea, Afghanistan, Russia, anywhere else. Well, maybe Russia lately. But none of these people have taken my freedom more than the U.S. government has. So that's a bunch of bullshit. They don't fight for our freedom. They don't fight for anyone's freedom. They fight for corporate gain and political power. So, yeah, if anyone has a problem with that, go fuck yourself. That's the way it is. Nobody can say anything. Nobody. In all this time I've asked this question, maybe that's a documentary we should do. Go ask military people, when did you actually fight for our freedoms? That might be something we could do with People's Video, the video section of People's Radio.
Right.
But yeah, no person serving in the military in the United States has fought for my fucking freedoms.
Well, you just touched on why, like, I've gotten, living in Kansas, which is, Midwestern United States. There's a lot of, it's a red state, and, there's things I love about a red state. Like, the knife laws here are a fucking dream, dude. But you have this thing of like, this hyper patriotism and stuff, and I say I don't give a fuck about the flag. I don't give a fuck about the national anthem. I don't care about any of that, and I don't feel loyalty towards that flag because of the government it represents. And people are like, well, it represents the people of America, so you should be loyal to it.
No, it doesn't.
Why the fuck should I be loyal to the people of America? Because they live in a democratic society? These people that I'm supposed to be loyal to are not participating outside of, they don't give a shit about what that flag is supposed to represent, except during a staged event at an NFL game. The rest of the time, they just disparage anybody who gives a shit about the way the government is fist fucking us. They don't go out, they don't do anything about it. They go vote once every 4 years, like that's going to change something. A democracy calls for participation. It calls for a fair amount of participation, and these people are not participating. They're just letting the government take away our rights more and more every day. But I'm supposed to respect this freedom-loving people. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I'm always in solidarity with the underdog, it seems. It's just by it just happens that way. But yeah, you know, that flag does not represent everybody. That flag does not represent most people. That flag represents white supremacy. That flag represents corporations. That flag represents the ultra rich. But as far as I'm concerned, burn them all. Fuck that flag. It means nothing to me. It's a piece of cloth. And really, what flag is worth anything? They're all pieces of cloth.
Yeah.
You know, these same people are religious. They're supposed to not have idols, but they do. That flag is an idol.
It is. And you know, I'm not like my thing is I'm not in a hurry to burn a flag. I'm not going to go out of my way to burn a flag. I'm not going to go out of my way to salute a flag either. I just don't give a fuck about the American flag or anybody else's flag. Could care less.
Yeah, I don't go out of my way to burn flags either, but you know, I'll do it if somebody says, "Oh, the flag is," I'll burn that shit. You know what I mean? I burned a flag before. The one time I do burn them is during the 4th of July when these realtors come and start sticking little flags outside the houses and stuff. I don't want a fucking American flag outside my house. I flip it upside down first, stick it in the dirt. Somebody comes every time, flips it upside down, so I had to burn it and leave it out there. I don't want a fucking American flag outside my house. Fuck that.
And nobody has a right to put one in your yard.
Yeah, so I take it out or burn it. Fuck that flag. It's not my flag. I don't have a flag, actually. That's the thing.
I don't either. You know,
I'll burn any flag. Don't think I'm singling your flag out. Give me the Russian flag, the North Korean flag, the Israeli flag. I'll burn them all. Line them up, stack them up. Let's have a bonfire of flags. Fuck nationalism. All nationalism.
Well, yeah, because you know, I've said this before. Mussolini, Hitler, Castro, very different people, you know, who had very different kinds of totalitarian fascist governments. They all got there. There was one thing that they all had in common that got them there. They rode a wave of nationalism. You know, if you want totalitarianism, if you want tyranny, get some strong nationalism going, and it's going to be easy to make it happen. And so I find it ridiculous that all these right-wingers who talk about freedom, this, Constitution, this, derpa, 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 derp, they're the ones who are all about the nationalism, the very thing that Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini, and all these other jackwagons had in common.
Fascism.
Yeah.
I just really, you know, I think, you know what, Steve, we need to talk about this, about doing some kind of, maybe just a short film, not a whole documentary or anything, but just something where we hit the streets and go out and interview people at military kind of events and ask them, when do you believe you fought for my freedom? Or the freedom of the American people? When did you fight for their free speech? When was this battle that you had where you ensured this for them? You know, I think that would be a great, powerful video to watch them stumbling over themselves, trying to make shit up and explain shit that it can't be explained because it's a fairy tale. And I'm thinking that that's something I definitely want to look into doing. And, you know, that's why I like these Friday shows, because it's just people talking like a phone call or whatever, and, you know, sometimes we have 5 people, sometimes we 2, and we come up with ideas.
Yeah, well, you know, you're onto something there, because I'm thinking back to the Iraq War, I'm thinking back to the Afghanistan War, I'm thinking back to the Korean War, the Vietnam War, I'm thinking back to all these conflicts, and, you know, our freedom of speech, if anything, we had more freedom of speech and various freedoms before these wars than we had after these wars.
I think it depended on who you are. Some people have never had freedoms in this country. Native people, black people, Latino people, and even the freedoms they have are lesser than the freedom of a white person or a white male, especially.
True, but I'm saying after these wars, they had even less.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
You know, Just like, I mean, everybody wound up, whatever freedoms anybody had, whenever one of these conflicts has happened, and I'm looking back, we've had less after these conflicts. None of these conflicts have done anything to guarantee our freedoms.
Yeah, the only people that can fight for our freedoms is us by getting our asses out in the fucking streets in masses and demanding our rights back. And if they say no, we take that shit. That's the only way it's going to happen. No military is going to do that shit for us. Unless shit drastically changes and we get the People's Army or something. Maybe. You know what I mean? But I'm not a fan of armies to begin with. Militarism is bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Let's that kind of segues us into our next topic, which is Philadelphia and Super Bowl. Like I said, we need masses out in the street. And what happens? A sports team wins a sporting event, and they had over 1 million people in the street. 1 million predominantly white people in the street. They were flipping cars, they were burning cars, they were jumping on awnings, they were drinking in public, which is illegal there like it is here in California, open container. Everything was allowed. The police were even shaking people's hand while standing around a flipped car. I showed you that video.
Yeah.
And I noticed that at the Bundy standoff, when people had rifles at the cops were smiling, shaking their hands, no riot gear, no nothing. But yet, let 20, 30 black people, 50 black people, even 100 black people, we're not even talking about 1 million, go out in the street because the police murdered somebody in cold blood, an unarmed kid or something, you know what I mean? And you got riot gear, you got gas, you got cops screaming racist shit, they ain't shaking hands. They ready for war. Why is there a difference?
Yeah.
Why is it acceptable when white people go apeshit over a fucking sporting event or some bullshit that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things? Who gives a fuck?
Oh, I know why. Because all lives matter.
Yeah. Fucking shit, man. These people are so fucking... Yeah, that's the whole thing. All lives matter. Get the fuck out of here with that racist shit.
Yeah, it's well, you got to understand, it's different when white people do it. That's boys will be boys.
It's thugs thugging. There's no purpose for it. They're not trying to make a better life. They're not saying, don't kill us anymore. Please stop. Or we'll be out here. No justice, no peace. They're like, oh, our team won. We're so fucking drunk. Let's go tear some shit up.
Dude, they ate horse shit.
They're full of horse shit already. So what's the difference? You mean literally they ate it?
Literally ate horse shit. There's a video.
What's the purpose of it?
Good question.
See, I don't care if someone wants to eat horse shit. Eat all the horse shit you want. Don't eat horse shit. But what I'm saying is, I want the police to act the same. If you're going to attack black and Latino people, Muslim people out there trying to fight for rights, then you need to fucking attack the white people that are doing the same, if not worse shit, for no apparent reason. Or, if you're going to shake hands and be all cool and let the white people smash shit up and destroy a whole city, then you need to say these people are angry and they have even more right than them people because they've had terrible injustices brought to them, and we need to support them and stand out here like we do the white people going ape shit over a fucking team win. Yeah, I'm not a sports fan, but I'm going to tell you this, even if I was, fuck that shit. It's bullshit. It's clear white privilege, racism, there's nothing more, there's no other explanation for it.
Well, it is one of the most glaring illustrations of white privilege that exist in society today, and we've had this other times too. We've had college football games and there's riots afterwards, and you see the way the media treats it. It's a lot different.
They were laughing about it. It's just, look at them up there. Oh, look.
Oh yeah, and I mean. The thing is like, you can look at Charlottesville, who ran who over with the car? Who shot a gun into a crowd? That was the white supremacists. And yet, who do we always try to make out to be the thugs?
Anyone but the white supremacist, evidently. And see, here's the thing: white on white crime. White people kill other white people at a rate of 84% of white people are killed by other white people. It's a scourge of white on white crime and violence going on in this city, and they don't talk about it. In the whole state, I mean, in all 50 states, not just the city. But it's like, but black on black violence, oh my God. You're out there worried about a police killed you. Well, more black people kill more, but well, more of every, we've said this so many times on this show, every race kills their race at a higher rate than they kill other races because, especially in America, the way things are set up, we live closer to people that look like us generally. You know what I mean? So you kill in within where you live. Most people aren't going to travel to kill people, Although white supremacists have done that, they went on vacations to kill black people. So yeah, it just blows my mind. I mean, the activist that snatched the Confederate flag got shot on his bike and killed. I can't remember his name. I wish I could look things up, man. I got to get me another computer going when I do these shows. Yeah, but he was shot on his bike and murdered. It just seems kind of odd. You're a big-time activist out there. Everybody knows you. You've been on the news for snatching a Confederate flag, and you get shot on your bicycle riding down the street. Look at Ferguson. They've been killing activists out there and getting away with it since Ferguson started. Burning cars, gunshot wounds.
It seems like every 6 months another activist is found burned to death in their car.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there is a pattern going on here, but I don't know. I mean,
but just look at Fox News the other day when Philadelphia riots were going on. The Philadelphia Super Bowl riots of 2018 were happening. These thugs were out there going crazy, and Fox News was like, "Guys, it's a celebration. Let's try it not." And she stopped herself when she said violent, and wouldn't use the word. But let a bunch of black people be out there with signs saying "No justice, no peace," getting up in the police face a little bit. They're not being violent. I mean, yeah, there's times people get pissed off and flip cars and burn shit down. Oh well, that's how it happened. But these people did it, and everyone was cool with it. As soon as it goes to the other side and there's black people doing this, oh, tense situation, standoff with police. Not, oh, guys, just try not to be so, don't mess up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people were stealing seats out the shit, stealing poles. No one's calling them thieves and thugs. They're like, oh, they got a piece of history. What kind of shit is this? Yeah. Let a black person take a candy bar out the store is getting cuffed. These people are stealing street signs, poles, and fucking chairs out of stadiums in front of the goddamn police.
Yep.
It's insanity, man. It's total double standard. Why don't these veterans go and fight for their freedoms? Say, oh, we're gonna make everyone equal.
Well, you're right about that, Tim. It's what it is a lack of inequality. I mean, nobody's saying let anybody get away with doing fucked up shit. What we're saying here is treat everybody equal. If you're gonna let one group get away with fucked up shit, let everybody get away with fucked up shit. If you're gonna arrest a group for fucked up shit, or even not fucked up shit, arrest another group for not fucked up shit or not fucked up shit for the same shit, so that we can, at least say everybody's being treated equally.
And here's another thing behind the scenes. In Philadelphia, they are rioting in favor of a corporation, if you think about it. A lot of corporations, the NFL, whatever team, was it the Eagles or something? So yeah, they're out there rioting in favor of a corporation, celebrating it, getting them media coverage and all kinds of bullshit. So it's okay. right against the corporation, smash a window of the corporation that you hate, like a Walmart or a bank, all of a sudden, oh my God, they're terrorists. Flip a limo over because you don't want rich people to be riding around looking stupid in them long-ass, dumb-ass cars. Oh my God, you're a terrorist. You got to be arrested immediately. Do that shit for a sports team win. It's the greatest thing since pie, man. Blows my motherfucking mind. I can't even grasp the concept of how this shit works. And it pisses me the fuck off to no end, dude. This shit is so blatantly racist. It's like in your face racist. Like, and for people listening right now, they're just coming in, Steve isn't watching porn on helium. He has a cat over there that's very noisy. So.
Yes. Yeah, this cat, I adopted him, and he was living in my alley, and now he wants attention all the time.
And now you got a best friend.
I do.
That's the best thing. You know what? Just on a side note right here, people, fuck breeders, adopt animals, take in animals from shelters because they're going to get killed. They need homes. You know, one thing, you know, adopt an animal. It's great for you, and it's great for whatever animal you adopt, and you have a new best friend. It's not even on the topic list, but I just felt that needed to be said.
Right.
Especially if you got something like a mental, like I have PTSD and depression, and Olive here, she seems to know and just cheer me up. You know, she works hard to keep me happy. I don't think I work hard enough to keep her happy. I got to step my game up. But yeah, I mean, it's total. They love you unconditionally, and you can't help but love them back. So yeah, I mean, if you're in a predicament where you can't have pets or whatever, that's understandable. But if you can, don't go to breeders. Don't spend all that money. Go to the pound. Go to a shelter. Go somewhere where animals need you, not where they're breeding them for money and pimping them out. Sorry, Steve, that was just a little rant. We always go on tangents.
Oh, that's
Glenn
funny.
would be shivering right now, like another tangent. But yeah, I mean, pets are the best. They're the best. So yeah, I guess moving on with racism. Topic number 3, we have racist hate crimes have risen 20% since Trump took office.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I said it would happen.
I think a lot of people predicted it. You predicted it on one of our shows, as a matter of fact, long ago.
Yeah, and it's going to go up even more.
Oh yeah, I mean, he doesn't ever say anything disparaging against these fucking terrorists. Never. But let a black dude take a knee, he's a son of a bitch. How dare him? but you run people down and try to slaughter. You know, you take ISIS tactics and use them against people protesting for justice and equality. You're a very fine person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and coming from the top, I mean, I know most other presidents pretty much believe shit the same way Trump does. But at least they had the good, decent sense to say, hey, I'm going to shut my fucking mouth about this shit. They didn't always. I mean, politicians have always been racist and blatantly said racist shit. But it was even more coded or hidden, you know what I mean? They tried not to do it because it was bad for their political careers. You know, they need people who are not white to vote for them in certain districts, especially. So politicians are liars, they're scum, and they do anything to get that vote, including pretending to be something they're not. But Trump doesn't give a shit. He's proud to be a racist. And all his people around him are proud to be racist. Like blatant, they're like, we're not racist. As they're spewing the most racist, vile shit you've ever heard, man. And that trickles down. And you get these crazy fuckers down here that maybe they have mental disabilities, maybe they're just unstable assholes. because their life sucks. I don't know. Living in this country is like torture. But yeah, they're like, oh, this guy's saying this, and he's blaming these Mexicans for taking my job, and he's blaming these black people for the violence in the streets, and he's blaming these Muslims for being terrorists. I have to kill these people. I have to attack these people. I have to fight back for America. That's how these people are led to believe. You got all these whack jobs like Fox News, Breitbart, Alex Jones, The Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson, all these bitch-ass Nazis out here trying to, Bill O'Reilly, all of them, man. I can go on forever. Feeding that shit to these people, man. And these people are not very smart. They're uneducated. They're stupid. A lot of them are religious, and to believe to believe in a religion, you can be fooled pretty easily.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's be frank here. If you're going to believe that a white guy was born in the Middle East, and then
from a virgin,
and then that white guy was a carpenter who suddenly became the most famous man in the world, and then he was crucified, and then he died, but no, he came back to life. If you're going to believe all of this, yeah, you can pretty much be sold anything.
Yeah, and that goes for any religion. And I'm going to tell you this. The two of the dumbest religions, another tangent, the religions that are unforgivable to me, not because of a lot of religions are unforgivable to me, the Catholics, but the two that are unforgivable because they should know better is the fucking Mormons and the fucking Scientologists. These people have records. They're not 2,000 years ago. They're more modern. You can see what charlatans they were. You can see what scum they were. You can see everything about them, but you choose to be blind to shit that's right there in your fucking face. So fuck the Scientologists and fuck the Mormons because they're the dumbest of all religions. Okay, tangent over. Let's get back to the 20% increase in hate crimes.
All right.
I'm on a roll. I work like almost 30 something hours straight on Thursdays and Fridays, man. So I don't get sleep. So I'm just either enraged or too tired to give a fuck when these shows come. I'm trying to get my schedule changed in the next few weeks, but right now it's like hectic. So that's why I'm like this, y'all.
Yeah, man. I understand. So what's our next topic?
These topics are all pretty much connected and related. This is the last topic, so we're probably gonna have a shorter show today. Probably end up rounding out about an hour, a little bit over. But while most of America, while white America blames Latinos I'm sorry, I can't even read. While white America blames Latinos, automation is actually taking people's jobs at an alarming rate. So yeah, people are saying, these Mexicans took my job. But really, like we've said before on this show, these white corporate people who don't give a fuck about their workers, all they care about is profits and bottom lines and fucking their shareholders making money, are trying to automate shit now to get rid of your job. I just seen something. It was this kitchen, these hands that work. Did you see that, Steve? It's like a robot that cooks you food and cleans your kitchen for you, and it's these hands. Yeah. Now imagine when that hits. Before it hits people's homes, it's going to hit. The corporations are going to start using this technology, obviously. Mm-hmm. So you're going to put dishwashers out of work. You're going to put chefs and cooks out of work. You're going to put, they're already putting waiters and waitresses out of work. And if they are working, they're making it legal for the companies to steal 100% of their tips if they choose to. So the people that run the company you work for are the ones taking your jobs and fucking you over and keeping you poor and broke and miserable and slaving you away for nothing. But you're going to blame some darker people. What kind of fucking sense does that make? And there's Mexican people out there who are blaming illegals, quote unquote, because you're better than these people that are your same race because you have some paper? You have a piece of paper that makes you better than them? What kind of fucking sense does that make? But that's the American way. Whoever has a bunch of paper seems to be more important than everybody else.
Right. Well, you know, all countries all countries do that. All countries have citizenship requirements, and if you're not a citizen, you can be deported. I mean, that's a thing that comes with borders and nations.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever, deported, whatever. But saying you're taking my job.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing about that is you know, I get that. I hear this all the time about the Mexicans are taking our jobs. What they're doing is they're doing the jobs that we refuse to do. You know, that's what they're doing. They're actually kind of helping the economy because they're doing jobs that we simply refuse to do.
See, the thing about this is I'm not a fan of borders at all. So I think the whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah, neither am I.
If we were one world and there were no countries and flags and nationalities, we had our races, we had our cultures, but we all accepted each other's cultures and races, and we're like, hey, we're all in this world together. You know, this is Earth. This isn't the United States. This isn't Russia. This isn't Korea. This isn't China. This isn't Japan. This is Earth. How much better of a life would everybody have? This is Earth. We're all humans. We're part of this whole ecosystem. Animals and plants. We're all kind of one together in this shit. So we're gonna unite together for the betterment of all of us. Think how quick we'd have a wonderful ass world.
Yeah, the implementation of that would be very difficult, but yeah, it would be nice if we could accomplish it.
I mean, it started like that. It can go back to that.
I don't know. When I study history, there have been nation states as far back as I've been able to look, unless I'm missing something, which maybe I am, but, from what I understand, Samaria is the oldest civilization we know about, and that was a nation state. Egypt was a nation state. I mean, we've always had nation states, and you had to conform to that nation state in order to live there, or else you got kicked out to another nation state where you had to conform. I mean, nation states have always been here, and I don't like them, but they've always been here, and
so we could,
unless people get smart.
If enough people rise up, shit can change.
Well, yeah, people need to put on their big boy pants and realize they don't need government to take care of them.
See, because there was a time before, quote unquote, civilization and, you know what I mean, kings and queens and all that bullshit. I'm sure there was, and maybe we weren't as evolved or advanced, but we are now. Yeah. We are now, and that should say even more that we need to go back to something that's not divided; it's united.
Well, you know what I love about that is people say, yeah, but then everybody was fighting each other, and there were all these atrocities, and we've got these prehistoric skulls of prehistoric humans, and they're like bashed in with clubs and shit, and I'm like, yeah, so there was violence and people were killing each other then. What do you think is happening today? We're just
on a much larger scale.
Well, we're just doing it in a more orderly fashion. We're not killing less people. We're not, I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I believe like animals, different species, a lot of them will get along fine until the resources get low. And then they have a reason to fight. Some of them are territorial. Primates are territorial, which sucks. But we're smarter than that. We can say we're not going to go with these instincts.
No, I'm glad you said that, because you're touching on something that I have been screaming into the wilderness for the longest time, and that is that we have the same instincts as animals. We have the reptilian brainstem where we share a lot of things in common with reptiles, the mate, kill, repeat shit. Then we have, our mammal brain, our animal brain, which is a little more advanced, but it's animalistic. And then we have this cerebral cortex, this front part of our brain where it's really well developed, and because of that, we're able to we're able to think of things that animals can't think of. And that's the whole thing right there. That, if we let that govern our animal and reptilian brains and, use our animal and reptilian brains instead of our animal and reptilian brains using it, which is what we're doing today in this society.
I don't think we have any reptile. We're more primates. Is that just the term reptilian that I don't understand that when you keep saying?
No, we have. Well, think about it. I mean, it's called the amygdala, and it's all like, it operates like a reptile operates. It's like, that's the threat. I have to kill it. That's food. Okay. I have to kill it. We have that in us. Okay, and then we have another part of our brain that thinks more like an animal, where it kind of wants to like group with other animals, and there's a little bit of a community thing, but it's still. And then we have what we have that other animals don't have is that more evolved part of the brain, where we can come up with concepts, abstract concepts, and we can come up with ideas, and we can come up with philosophies and this sort of thing. And if we really took ownership of the rest of our brain, if we use that to take ownership of the rest of our brain, we would be one incredibly evolved one incredibly evolved species with very incredibly evolved civilizations, and we would be doing a lot less harm to each other. But we choose instead to fall back on that brain stem and that back part of our brain way too much, and let those tell the front part of our brain how to think, how to philosophize. And we get bombarded with images through advertising and stuff that trigger the amygdala, and but we have that capacity. And I've said this to people many times. We have the capacity to coexist peacefully with each other and be stewards of the planet and not rely on government. We have that ability in us. The problem is nobody cares. And until people do care, you and I can advocate for anarchism all we want, but the fact of the matter is, if we had anarchism tomorrow, if we woke up tomorrow and there was anarchism and people thinking the way they think, it would be a bloodbath.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, not in this exact in this exact line of reasoning. But God, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm trying to load a bowl so I can hit some more of this wax and get stoned and be back to normal. But yeah, the thing about it is, I just totally lost my train of thought, Steve. What was the last thing you just said? We can be better as a species. Yeah, the thing about it is, like we said before on this show, that it's gonna take people. It's gonna take some generations of everyone saying, we're gonna teach our kids the right things, not the bullshit, not the nationalism, not the borders, not the war, not the killing, not the. Some people are lesser than these people, and these people are greater than these people, and all the bullshit history. We want to teach our kids. It has to start with people changing the way people think from birth. You're feeding them this religion that's just all about horrible shit, and you're feeding them politics and fucking patriotism and nationalism, and that's not healthy for your brain. You can't have it. It's not healthy for your society. It's not healthy for your species. It has to start with raising people right. And it's going to take generations to be perfect, and everyone, and the majority, not everyone, but the majority of people have to. I guess, what do they call that? The spirit of the times. I can't remember. There's a word they use for that stuff. It starts with a Z, I think. I can't remember the word. But yeah, it's just like you have to make that. Yeah, you have to make that the way people are thinking. Like, kids and growing ups, and it's going to take time because people have been brainwashed from the time we're born into all this bullshit. And it's really hard to say, oh, wait, because you know, sometimes you're sitting here like, wow, this fascism seems really convincing, and a lot of people go for it in so many different ways it's coming at them. I was watching that interview. Oh man, it was I don't know what the interview was on. It was on some radio station, like Hot 92 or something. It was with Twali Kweli, and he was talking about how everything you do in this society, and I agreed, is supporting white supremacy. Like there's no way to live unless you're just gonna go out on a mountain and wear like, you know, a goat or something, a goat fur, where you're not participating because you need a phone. White supremacists, you know what I mean? You're because it's a big corporation. You're basically forced to support your own oppression, I guess would be a way to say it. He said it way better than I am because he's probably way smarter than I am. But yeah, but you know, we're forced. Anything we do, anytime we spend money, anytime we go in a store, we're feeding the system that oppresses us, and we got to find a way around that.
Yeah, we do. And that's where things like, you know, crowds or open source and this sort of thing are going to come into play. And, you know, it is encouraging as we do see more people who don't really call themselves anarchists, but they apply a lot of principles of anarchism, and they're coming up with some very cool things as far as sharing of resources. And hopefully those people continue to have influence and a bigger influence on society, so that we can eventually get to a point where we can have a society that's anarchist in nature.
Yeah, I mean, you get 100 anarchists together, you're going to have 100 different ideas of what the ideal anarchistic community would be like, but they're all based on general principles. You know what I mean? Most of them are pretty tolerable.
Yeah.
You know, no one ruling over anybody, no gods, no masters, no oppression. You know, when you're looking at society, look at the weakest and the sickest and the lowest and help them first, and then let it trickle up to the people that are wealthy and have shit. It shouldn't go to them and hopefully trickle down. It should be the reverse.
I think it is a more natural way of being and more in line with reality, because when you have a society, it's basically an organism. I mean, and if you look at it's a different kind of organism, but it's basically an organism. And when you look at organisms, like even our own body, our body takes in energy. What does our body do? It puts the energy where it's needed the most. You know, and that's how the whole body stays strong. If our bodies acted like a capitalist society, the human race would not exist today, because if our bodies were like that, our bodies would be all the different parts of our bodies would be fighting with itself for resources. You can see how that would have ended.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, I'm back. Yeah, that's it. You're like Dr. Steve today. I like this.
Dr. Steve. Professor Shagwell.
Yeah, Prof. Shagwell.
Dr. Shags.
Yeah, this is a really...
the doctor will see you now.
This is a really pseudo-medical show. I like it.
You got that glaucoma cure going on.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever get glaucoma in a million years if they threw it at me.
Dude, man, I talked to you on the phone, and I'm pretty sure I'm immunizing myself against glaucoma.
He said, you're in LA and I'm in Kansas, and I got contact from your ass on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry, people. We're just ignoring you and talking.
We really are.
Yeah. But we do this we do this sometimes without the radio, which is funny. We talk about these same subjects, and yeah, it's just what we do.
Yes.
We have no life because we're oppressed. We want to be free, so it's kind of what we talk about. It's our thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just so racist in this country, and it's so blatant, and it's always been that way. But you know, I like to think it was going in a direction that was getting better, but now that's all gone to hell. I was looking at some old videos. I think it was on Twitter or something, or some YouTube links to these old speeches, and really, you know, back from some of them from the 30s, 40s, 50s. Some of them were just pictures with recordings on top of them. And people were talking about getting death threats and the white supremacists. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, everything that was going on back then is starting to happen now. Maybe not on that larger scale. Like, people aren't getting lynched like that, like where it's a big picnic and everyone's publicly doing this and smiling for photographs. But when this piece of shit motherfucker said, "Make America Great Again," yeah, he meant all this, any little bit of progress we made against white privilege and against racism. Fuck it all to hell. That's not great. Racism is great. And it seems like we're going really backwards. And sideways, because we've never had a situation, well, in my lifetime especially, but I don't think we've ever had a situation, even since the 30s and 40s and stuff, where somebody was trying to become a dictator and overthrow the government and stay in power. You know? I mean, we had political parties, they've gotten worse and worse. And there's, you know, people have talked about this and they, you know, but it's really like, wow, this guy's bold with this shit. He wants to be a dictator. He's blatantly racist.
Nixon didn't go this crazy.
No, because like Glenn keeps bringing up on the show. If Glenn was here, I'm sure he would have said this. The people who started this country planned on somebody like Trump, he said, but they didn't plan on a Congress and Senate to sit back and go along with it. You know?
Yeah.
So they're and these people are whacked out, man. I seen a tweet today. Someone was like, "I wish I can go to sleep and wake up and Obama was back in office. And America was great again." I was like, wow, you thought America was great under Obama? Did you think America was great under Bush or Clinton or Bush or Reagan? Because it hasn't been great long before any of them. And since Reagan has been getting a whole lot less great on a much more rapid scale, you know what I mean? This country is. I've asked people. I've asked these racist Trumpians before online, and some responded. I think you've seen it a while back, Steve, a couple times. What's so great about America? What are you proud about? When has America ever been great? And these motherfuckers always bring up the same shit. We won the war, World War II. So the country's great because of a war? That's what makes greatness, is killing people and fighting? The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Back to that whole, we've gone full circle now. We're back into the heroic military. Who don't fight for our freedom. And I'm dead serious, man. I'm really thinking we need to look into doing a little film where we go to a couple in different states. You know what I mean? We got people, there's People's Radio. We got people in different areas. And, you know, maybe have people interview some military people, veterans, maybe some active members. I might just go over to one of the military bases. It's like a couple-hour drive from here. See if I can get them to talk to me. But yeah, ask them. when did you personally fight for any living citizen, any American citizen's freedom of speech or rights? I want to see what their answer would be. You have any predictions? Except get the fuck out of here, you commie, or whatever they're gonna call me. They always call me a commie. I'm not even a commie. But
yeah, it's hard to tell.
I don't know. Share shit and help the poor, you fucking commie, you pinko. Yeah. You know, I don't mind being called a commie or a socialist as much as mind being called a capitalist or a Hillary supporter. That shit pisses me off. Or a liberal. Oh, that shit pisses me off. So yeah, I mean, commies and socialists, as long as it's not run by the government, that's not so bad. But the problem is, whenever you have a government running some shit, it's not going to end well. Not for the people anyway. So yeah, I just, sheesh. What do you think their answer is going to be? Some of their answers. Let's. Well,
I think the answers are going to be quite varied. I mean, I do know people who have served in the military, and even people who are in the military who are like, yeah, you know, right now we're just fighting for corporations, but this is my job, this is what I do, and I'm setting myself up.
See, that's an honest answer, but then I would go and ask them, so why do you want people to thank you for their freedom and thank you for your service and hail you as a hero if you're not doing anything for them?
Some of these people don't want that, you know. There's...
The loudest ones seem to be...
Much in the same way that there is a perception of Antifa which is not accurate, because the range of thought in Antifa is much more diverse than is presented. There's a much more diverse range of thought in the military than what is presented to us through the media and through, you know, I mean, I've got a friend who actually has a outreach of veterans. It's called I Will Protect You, and it's an outreach of veterans who, you know, like their big thing right now is if you're Muslim or if you're a minority, we are servicemen and former servicemen who vow to protect you. You know,
overseas? How? If their orders are to kill these people, how are they going to protect these people? How are you going to protect Muslims when you're bombing a Muslim country?
Well, they're talking about Muslims in America.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, so you mean personally? You don't mean the military. You mean them personally? Like if they seen somebody harassing somebody, they step in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone should do. That's what I do that shit.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, there's a perception of military as not giving a shit about those people, when actually there are quite a few military people who do. You know, there's a perception of military as having nobody in the military has any idea that it's basically fighting for corporations these days. A lot of people actually do. In fact, in Adbusters, I saw there was an entire, there was a unit that held up an American flag where instead of the stars there were corporate logos. You know, there is a diversity of thought in the military, just like, as I said, there's a diversity of thought in Antifa that we are told doesn't exist.
There's a diversity of thought in every group. I mean, from religion to, you know, you can find I mean
So what it comes down to is we're going to get a lot of different answers when we ask military people. Now,
see, I hope you're right, because that would inspire me a little bit to think these people aren't all, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid.
Right. No, there's a fair amount of people who aren't. I mean, a lot of people are, and you're going to get a lot of people who are not going to speak freely because they can get in trouble for speaking freely as a serviceman.
Not if they're just a veteran.
If they're just a veteran, yeah, they can say whatever they want, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to find all types. You're going to find the America, derp, yeah, bomb everything, and you're going to find the people who are like, man, these wars we're getting into these days are just bullshit. I mean, you're going to find it all.
Yeah, and I also want to ask them all, what would you do if your orders were to attack people in an American city where cops had killed some black people or Mexican people, and there's a huge riot going on over injustice, and your orders were to go in and attack these people? Like, these people might have guns, these people might be busting up shit and burning cars and attacking police, but now you're called in there and you know the police are crooked as shit. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? Yeah. What are you going to do? Because that's what worries me. I think when it comes down to it, they'll fight for this government over the people's freedom. And I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that to be the case.
There's a fair amount of people in the military who will not go there. Right now, what I'm more concerned about than the military is actually these militias like 3%, because they are gay for Trump. You know, if Trump, like if Obama had done something unconstitutional, they'd be so against it. But if Trump does something unconstitutional, 3% and Oath Keepers have his back. And they don't have rules of engagement that they're supposed to follow.
It's simple logic. They're both Nazi racist scumbuckets. Both those organizations are nothing but racist scum. So, of course, the black guy does it, it's wrong. The white guy does it, it's just brilliant. That's what they believe. They think they're a superior race.
No. 3% militia and Oath Keepers are not racist. They have some token black people there.
Yeah, so does Trump and the Nazis and the Klan.
If you want to play Where's Waldo, you can find a black person or two. So they're not racist.
Well, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, how these groups try to. We're actually talking about Chelsea Manning, and how these groups, like the NSM in particular, they encourage Latino or black people to join. You know, that are whacked out and hate their own race, self-loathing people, to come along with them. They're not gonna be there. You know, they're not gonna be like cool with them, but they're gonna let them go there and say, look, this guy is saying black people suck, and he's black, so he ought to know. We're not racist. We're just telling the truth. Look, he's proving it. Or this guy's Mexican. He's on our side. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's that. They do that to try to validate themselves, and it's all bullshit. They're using a fool, a sellout. You know what I mean? A fool that I don't know why that shit. It never makes sense to me why someone will go against their own people for some white supremacists or Nazis or Klan, but it does happen from time to time, and it blows my mind. There was a black Nazi with swastikas on him here in L.A., in Westwood. Tatted on him. Had his head shaved. He was with all these other skinheads. We got into a fight with them, as a matter of fact. And they ran like bitches and jumped in their car and took off. But yeah, he was screaming the N-word like he was a hillbilly from the South. He wasn't saying it like, you know what I mean? He was saying it like a racist would say it. And he was a black dude with swastikas tatted on his eyelid and his shoulders and shit. Man, like everyone was like shocked, like what the fuck? Like no one knew what to think when they seen this shit, but it happens.
Yeah, well, you know, there's self-loathing people who will sell out their own people. I mean, in World War II, Nazi Germany. A lot of Nazis were rounded up, or a lot of Jews were rounded up because Jews turned them in. The Nazis had Jews that they gave privileges to, and those Jews turned in their fellow Jews. And in fact, there is a short story, a short book written called "Ladies and Gentlemen, This Way to the Gas Chamber," which is a Jewish concentration camp survivor, talking about his experience as he was one of the Jews that was in a concentration camp that was picked to help herd Jews off the cars and keep them calm as they were separated into two lines, those for work and those to go to the incinerators, and also to harvest all their belongings and collect their belongings and go through their belongings, and they could get to keep certain things. I mean,
that's what happens now. I mean, it happened in slavery days. Black people would turn in other black people so they could have favor and maybe not get beaten or tortured. I mean, there's a point where you got to say, fuck self-preservation. It's about everybody. We got to unite, and if we die, we die. We die together. If we win, we win. We win together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saving yourself while your people is dying and suffering, that's that. I see why a coward would do it, but at the same time, you got to be like, I don't know. You got to look at it from the other side. If if I was in their shoes, would I want them selling me out? Hell no. So this is what's got to happen.
I think people need to realize too that. Sorry, I think.
Jesus bless you.
Jesus bless me. White Jesus bless me. Because we all know Jesus was white.
Of course he was.
That's what made him such a miracle. He was a white guy born in the Middle East.
He's born from a virgin, dude.
Well, yeah, he was born from a virgin, and then he was a white guy born in the Middle East. I mean,
this giant pedophile deity raped his 13-year-old mom. That's what happened, according to these people, and that's just precious and beautiful. Back to this religion tangent, man. Fuck them. I got problems with religious people lately, man. They just piss me off. It's a bad subject to bring up. They protect the sickest shit and throw that religion out and be like, oh, we're so great. We're above it all because we're religious. Nah, fuck you. You're trying to use that as a shield to hide your evil fucking sick shit you support and do. So yeah, I'm through with that religious shit, dude. Just ew. I'm not even trying to be nice anymore. But I'm not an atheist because atheist has been hijacked by racists. I am a non-believer. I don't believe in bullshit. It's that simple.
Well, I mean, racists are racists. Atheists are getting as militant and as disrespectful of my rights to just be myself as right-wing Christians. You know, there's this militant atheism movement now that's it's driving me nuts. You know?
Yeah, I just don't. A lot of these dudes are really
anybody's ideology. Why the fuck do I have to have anybody's ideology up in my grill? I don't care. I'll believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. Stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah, but atheist has become almost like a little religion of its own, and it's got a lot of these leading people are blatant racist right wing fucks. And the thing about it is, when I think of atheism and atheist, I think of somebody who just doesn't believe in shit that hasn't been proven to them. You know, like a skeptical person. But they've changed it. You're right. They've changed it into some really weird shit. And it's like, you know, you might call me an anti-theist. Religion makes me sick, but I mean, if people aren't bothering others with it and it doesn't harm anybody, and it bothers me they teach it to their kids. That's what bothers me the most. Because we're never going to get a good world if you're teaching kids bullshit all the time. But regardless, I mean, I'm not out there attacking people for their religion. I just, you know, I don't consider myself an atheist because when I hear that word now, it connects with fascism and racism really, really closely right now. And I'm not with any of that shit. I'm just a person that doesn't believe in shit that you can't prove to me. So yeah, it's just the title anyway. It's like anarchist. Like, you know, I guess if you fall under an atheist banner, there's a million different people who believe a million different things. And a percentage of them are going to be crazy ass, like you said, militant fuck sticks. And yeah, I'm not with that. that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think religion should be combated, and I don't think there should be church and state should have anything to do with each other. I don't think religious people should be able to run for political office because they believe in some crazy shit. Because each religion, the Christians say, "Oh, if we had all Christians in office, it would be great." Muslims will say, "We had all Muslims in office, it'd be great," and so on. Mormons and Jehovah's Witness, and of course, they all want their own people in office. But the point is, all the other ones would be like, "Hell no, they're believing some crazy shit. We can't have them running the country." Well, to me, all of you shit is crazy like that. That's the only thing. You know what I mean? Just keep it away
Yeah.
from me. For right now, that's all I can ask, because you have the freedom to believe whatever you want. Just don't push it on to others. That's all. I don't care what
Yeah.
you wear. I don't care what you do. I just don't want it. And I think that's why I have less problem with Muslims than I do Christians. Because in this country, I've never had Muslims at my door trying to convert me. I've never had Muslims with megaphones screaming about repent or burn in hell, We're on a huge tangent right now, aren't we?
We really are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. We bashed religion long enough. We'll continue next week.
All right.
Number one topic next week, bash religion.
Yeah, I still got sword practice to do, and I gotta get ready for the big weekend of training, so.
Cool.
All right, man.
Good luck with your martial arts, and thank you people for listening. And we'll be here next week, and like we said before, next month we're starting up new radio shows as well as a whole new video, what am I thinking? What's the word I'm looking for, Steve? A video section, a video part to people's radio. So yeah, it's gonna have a lot of new stuff coming soon. So follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Spreaker, and we're gonna have a lot of good content coming out really, really soon. Thank you, Steve. Thanks to the 3 people listening, and we'll see you next week.
Sayonara.